you get a big workload, right? But that's not what my issue was. My stressors were going every day and not knowing what type of day she was going to have, because her day dictated, her mood dictated my day.
Understood.
And when she confronted me about Seisenbach, because the dad's the one that came to me, but she never once told me her dad mentioned that. I mean, Seisenbach's dad mentioned it. She just said, do not be going around and telling people that I do favoritism. Do not be going around saying this, saying that. And I'm thinking, well, who the fuck did I tell that to, you know? And then I started thinking, the more she started speaking, I was like, she wouldn't allow me to speak.
Yeah.
She would not allow me to speak. And then finally she was, and don't quote me on these words, but it was pretty much along the lines, well, you want to go ahead and speak, go ahead and speak up. And that's when I told her. I went outside and I said, with all due respect, I started crying because I was so mad. I was furious because she would not allow me to speak. And she was yelling at me, and I told her, with all due respect, and this was in Lackey's presence, and Lackey's not going to say anything because Lackey's a good guy.
Yeah,
I love Lackey.
I know he is.
You know, but he
doesn't want to get involved. Yeah, like he's trying to stay out of a lot of things, actually, from what I hear.
Yes. And so he was present, and so I told Chief, with all due respect, because I respect the rank, I am going to walk the fuck out of here because I don't want to go off, and I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get out, I'm going to get up, and I'm going to walk out the way you allowed Megan to walk out when her and I got into it, because this was another incident in the very beginning that Chief got there, that Megan and I got into it, and I was helping Megan with code compliance, whatever the hell, and I told Megan, look, you're wanting, I'm putting notices on these vehicles for 30-day notices. I'm giving you what I'm doing, but then yet you're coming and telling me that citizens are complaining, and you're asking me to go back out and put notices on vehicles that I've already done. Time's already passed. So it's wasted time and labor on my end.
Yeah.
So I don't mind helping you, but I need you to do your job.
That's right.
So long story short, she got upset, and then Chief was like, what happened, what's going on? She called us into her office. This is when she was the lieutenant. And she was like, what's going on? So I told Megan, because I did not want to get anything misconstrued. I didn't want to talk out of context. I wanted, well, maybe Megan took it a different way. Let me see what Megan has to say. So when I speak, you know, I do hand gestures.
Yes.
So I kind of pointed at Megan in Megan's direction. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and let Megan speak, you know, allow Megan to speak. And Megan's like, don't be fucking, and don't quote me on this, but there was some cuss words. Don't be pointing at me before I slap the shit out of you. No. And then I was like, fucking slap the shit out of me. I was like, I fucking dare you. Like, and then Chief consoled her and got after her, but then consoled her more, and then comes up to me and tells me, well, what do you want me to do, Linnet? She goes, because I can write both of y'all up. Again, intimidation. I did not fucking do shit. I'm a police officer in uniform, and you heard her and witnessed that she threatened a police officer in uniform. I didn't say anything. I didn't speak up. Why? Because she has never taken my side. Not only that, anytime that I've gotten in trouble, I've also felt like she's real good with her words. Like, there was a time that I was always nonstop getting written up, and because she's so good with her words and she knows how to type up shit, I have fucking write-ups. And there's one that I put, you know, I was having a bad day, whatever, and when I wrote that on the comment section, she said, she got upset, and she's like, you're not, something along the lines like, I'm not taking it for what it is, you know, like, I just, like, so I never, any other write-ups thereafter, I never fucking wrote anything on the comments. So you know what? If I go to another agency and they look at my folder because there's no comments on there, and I know I could have been justified, and I know I could have fought him, but why? She was going to win anyway.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the hard part about stuff like this is it's yes and no. I mean, realistically, like, I've had my own issues and my own run-ins with these types of things, and I've had to, obviously I can't. I even tried to put in what's it called, the internal affairs against the type of things that were happening to me, and I will say that even when that happened or whatever, I got a letter that was certified mail that basically said I was outside my statute of limitations when I had literally just learned about it a week prior. So I was like, man, I got to tell you, like, something ain't right. So, I mean, I started taking that stuff to the Rangers and T. Cole and everybody I could, I mean, to really figure out exactly what was going on that end. I mean, yeah, it kind of, like, power corrupts in certain instances, and I could see it with Cardona slowly but surely. And I will tell you, like, even again, I had my own run-ins to a point where once I got elected, I mean, she noticed that she had less authority to try to, like, trump up stuff on me. And so essentially what she started to do then is, again, she started writing complaints. And I was like, you can write all the complaints in the world, but this should have never gone anywhere. I'm a city councilman. I'm voted here. Like, good luck trying to kick me out or whatever. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, she was really just trying to save her job because she knew she was going to be questioned heavily about some of the stuff that she had been doing. She's been messing up. I mean, for a long, long while, she's been messing up. But the problem is again, it's a matter of people speaking out. I mean, we've had so much issue where, again, everybody gets so timid about anything with the police because they don't want to be harassed. They don't want to be arrested. I mean, down to some of the people who now have gotten criminal no trespasses warranted against them over stupidities. I mean, it's that kind of stuff. And there is favoritism. I mean, it's very apparent, actually, when you consider some of the people who, like, never get any issue, and it's like the exact same thing, So, I mean, it's understood and it's understandable. I really have to say that, I mean, it's noticeable more and more, but, we have had a major issue with, like, hammering down any evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, that's what's really been our biggest issue.
I would have, and I wish I would have spoke up sooner. But the thing is, like I said, there was a lot of intimidation to where it left me feeling like I could not speak.
No, I understand.
There was a lot of, like, there was also sexual harassment that I went through that I couldn't say anything. Why? I had to endure it because, again, she does favoritism, and you think she's going to believe me? And not only that, I was advised, you stay on your side, I stay on my side.
Yeah, nobody should be that intimidated in their workplace. So, I mean, I can definitely understand the situation, and I apologize for it. I mean, nobody should have to work in those types of conditions.
Yeah, I had to make a tough decision because I was there for 5 years, and I feel that I did a good job. There was a lot of good work that I personally feel that I did that led to arrest, and like this one guy who got kidnapped as well, and certain things, and there was, like, no attaboys, there was no recognition, there was no, it was like, it was hard for her. It was hard for her to give the praise and the recognition, and it came easy to her to come down to scolding and, putting down the hammer and the intimidation. It was easier for her to do that versus, giving praise. And I would tell her, like, hey, Chief, like, I don't need a pat on my back every single time. But just as much as I hear the negative stuff, it would be good to hear the good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
let me just ask you real quick. I mean, do you think things might have been different had the situation been different? Do you think you might have stuck around had Cardona, not been here? Had you had a better chief? Had she been in better mood?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love her personality when she's in a good mood. Her laughter is contagious. When she's in a good mood, everybody's in a good mood. It's good. But I don't know the issue, and all I can say is I can speak for myself from what I've seen and more so what I experienced.
Yeah.
It was hard for me. It was hard. At first, when she came on, I was like, oh, having a female chief isn't bad. I love that she was proactive and she's very knowledgeable and she likes to get into shit. But at the same time, her personality consumes and it overshadows the good that she is capable of doing, and that's what made it hard. If she wasn't like that, definitely I would have stayed without hesitation. I would have had no problem staying. And with Seisenbach being there, it made my life fucking hell too. Where it was kind of like, okay, you know, I needed to get trained on certain things and I wasn't, but yet Seisenbach was always in her office. You know, we're being told and advised, don't be jumping chain of command, don't be jumping chain of command. That was a big thing at one time when Seisenbach was there. Well, why the hell is Seisenbach always sitting in your office? There were so many excuses, but yet nobody else can come to the chief. There was a point in time when we were, you know, and again, I enjoyed the knowledge and everything, and I did learn a lot from her, but overall, as a whole, her attitude, her demeanor, her, you know, she's a bully.
Yeah,
she does a lot of intimidation. That consumed a lot of me. My kids, which I didn't realize, my kids would, when I would come vent to my husband, I would cry. Every day I come home crying. I did not know that my son heard me crying because he said, Mom, I found out when he said, Mom, when you quit, I want you to cuss out everybody who made you cry there. I was like, what the hell? Like, he's been listening this whole... And I told Cardona that as well.
Let me ask you this. When you talk about Seisenbach always being in her office, I mean, you're talking about when she was working here, or are you talking about after she had left?
No, she was working there.
Oh, when she was working here. Okay.
She was working there, but she shows up to events and stuff like that. I mean, it's clear as day. And what pisses me off is she denied dating Seisenbach, and you know, and even the dad told me, and it was a little upsetting when the dad told me, well, you should have put out. It would have been better for you. And I'm like, I'm not that desperate. And he said himself that he would cover for whoever needed to be covered. In other words, he would lie. So I don't expect anybody to speak up or talk out, you know, against her. They're not, but I will tell you right now, my personal experience, I went through fucking hell. I can tell you a lot of officers that quit was because of her and because of the way shit ran. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. It's just, I am